Hello guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching me from. So today let's talk about women, and we are going to be talking about candidiasis, also known as yeast infection or vulvar-vaginal yeast infection. But before we dive into it, let's talk about the vagina. The vagina is a fibromuscular tube that is made up of three layers: the outer layer of areolar tissue, the middle layer of smooth muscles, and the inner layer of stratified squamous epithelium. So this epithelium helps to protect the underlying tissue from invasion of microbes, and it is in form of ridges that helps during childbirth. It expands the vagina during childbirth. So we all know that the environment of the vagina is acidic in nature, and it's as a result of a bacteria known as Lactobacillus acidophilus. It helps to maintain the environment of the vagina to be acidic. That's the pH between 4.9 to 3.5, and it is very important for the protection of the vagina. Yes, it helps to neutralize and destroy any microbes that is introduced into the vagina by any means, either through childbirth, through sexual intercourse, or any other ways. So let's now go into this candidiasis. What is candidiasis? Candidiasis is a yeast infection which is as a result of overgrowth of a yeast known as Candida albicans. Candida albicans is a yeast that is in the vagina, but it's commercial. It doesn't do us anything. So commercialism, we all know what it is: the relationship between two organisms. One is benefiting, one is not harmed. So they are benefiting from us, but we are not harmed. But problem arises when there is an overgrowth of this yeast, either due to the neutralization of the acidity of the vagina. The vagina is not acidic enough to control the multiplication of this yeast, or that the environment, that something favored the growth of this yeast infection rapidly, that the acid cannot control it. So we start having the symptoms of this candidiasis, of this infection. So what are the symptoms of this infection? Number one is inching. Yes. Number two is discharge in form of cheesy discharge. Yes, women do have discharge, but discharge is different. It's not the discharge you get during your ovulation that you get during your normal period, or that. Yes, when the discharge is like cheese, cottage cheese. Yes, and you are feeling itching, burning sensation during sexual intercourse or urination, redness and inflammation around that area, around the vulva. That's everything down that place, around the vulva. Yes, then it is an indication that you are having candidiasis. That's this yeast infection. So what are the factors that increases your risk of having this yeast infection? Number one is abuse of antibiotics. Antibiotics alters the acidity of the vagina. Yes, so anything that can alter the acidity of the vagina can increase your risk of having candidiasis. And apart from this, abuse of antibiotics is very, very bad, because any antibiotics you abuse, your body develops resistance, de- develops protection rather against this antibiotics. So when you have an infection that needs these antibiotics, your body will not accept it. Then your body will now, the disease will now build resistance to it. So it's not good to abuse antibiotics. So another one is pregnancy. Pregnancy can do a lot of things, can change the acidity of that area. Also is the use of hormonal contraceptives can also increase your risk of having this candidiasis. So how do you prevent it? By knowing now the factors that increases your risk to it, you can now think of how to prevent it. One, do not abuse antibiotics. Do not use antibiotics anyhow. Two is you can replace hormonal contraceptives to non-hormonal ones. Three, use of cotton underwears. Yes, another factor that I forgot to mention is when there is excess moist. Then depending on the type of underwear you use, down there is always moist. So try to use cotton underwears that will help to absorb those moist and keep that place dry. Yes, but when you use all these leathery, all these nonsense pants, underwear that are now on sale now, it will not absorb those moist very well, and it can increase your risk of having candidiasis. So I hope this information is very helpful. If you have any question, do drop it in the comment section. Thank you very much.